Welcome to the Energy Hour. The Energy Hour is brought to you by Quality Home Improvement, Southern California's premier residential and commercial contractor, making homes and businesses energy efficient, one building at a time.
Hey, Rob, what's going on?
How you doing, Chris?
Hey, it's Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
What is today? Today is the 12th?
13th.
13th.
Yes.
Already.
This
whole year has gone by super fast.
We're almost halfway through May.
I don't get it, so.
It's been quick. Too quick, right?
Too fast for words. Hey, what'd you do on the weekend?
Mother's Day stuff.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to
Yeah.
all those mothers.
Absolutely.
Even the ones we don't like.
Yeah.
Happy mother to you as well. But, our moms work hard. They had us, man, 9 months. Can
That's
you believe
right.
that?
Absolutely.
All of a sudden we spit out and they take care of us for the rest of our lives.
Keep taking care of us for the rest of our lives.
And it's just such a fantastic thing. I would never do it. I tell my wife, listen, I'd rather work excessively all my life and you take care of she's the captain of the ship at home.
If it wasn't for mothers or women willing to go through the birthing process, we'd have about 23 people on the planet, probably.
Men would have hung themselves a long time ago, right?
So
geez,
thanks to all the moms out there.
The drama. Oof.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a drama thing. I was watching Rain on TV. Ooh, that's a great series, man.
Is it? Oh, okay.
My wife turned me on to it, and I was just like, I couldn't stop. So she had to pry the remote from my fingers.
I hate those.
At 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would have went until the sun came out.
That's how you know it's good, right? It's just like, I need to eventually get sleep.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So today's show, we're going to talk about some unfortunate things that are out in the contracting world, Yeah. It's just unnecessary to have a bad contractor come into your house, tell you a bunch of lies. If you want to get technical, if these guys don't have that HIS license around their neck, that's called a home improvement license.
Right.
If they don't come to your house with an HIS license or have a contractor's license in their hand before they go inside, point your finger to the outside and say, leave my home.
Exactly. Tell them to get to the street.
The sad thing about it is that, you have somebody come into your house and they always want money up front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if people know this. The California contractor law is 10% or whatever is less under $1,000.
Right.
You can't go more than $1,000. So if this guy tells you, hey, I can do that cabinet remodeling I need $7,500 up front.
Right.
I mean, that's like half the job, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And they'll just milk you.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what a change order is.
No, or some do. The ones that come in, that brings up the idea of the low
you just
bid.
bring out a different check? Is that what it is?
No, the low bid, right?
The low bid guy. Oh, yeah.
There's the low bids and the high bids.
Yep.
And I've been in architecture and construction for 30 years.
Yep.
Which one scares me the most? The low bid. Because you start to wonder, what didn't they include? That old saying pops up in your head, doesn't it? If it sounds too good to be true, guess what? Yes, it is. About 80-90% of the time, it's going to be. Sorry. And then what they do is once they have your roof torn off, and you're in your house is in or building's in a state of disrepair because it still has to be completed, then all of a sudden they say, well, we could take care of that with a change order.
Or give me an additional $3,500. Yeah. Or me, Pepe, Juan, and everybody else are going to leave the job site.
Pretty much.
And so if you don't come out with that check, we're going to leave now.
And we see that all the time.
Do you think they really care?
No, we see it all the time. Like, a percentage of our work is us being called in as fixers. It's the least happy part of our work.
It's about 20%, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's the work we don't really want to have to do. We do it because somebody's been left in the lurch, basically. And, we care. We want to make sure but we would love for that not to happen.
We did a solar system like that, right? Somebody was told a story, and it just didn't work out. We even had a commercial customer come up to us recently and said that they had a friend of a friend who was licensed in the solar business, came up to his roof, and what did he tell you?
Yeah.
What did that contractor tell you?
Which one on the...
The one that he's going to choose us now over the other guys? Because something was blowing up?
Oh, yeah. So he's got... this was not a cheap system. This was around $650,000 system.
Wow.
This is a big commercial job. Inverters started blowing out within the first 2 to 3 months.
Incredible.
On their other job that they didn't have that problem with, this is about a $450,000 project. They've noticed that they on that one unfortunately went for the cheaper Chinese kind of, it's the mass-produced panel.
The B grade?
Yeah, if you're lucky B. This was probably C grade.
C and D chip cells.
See yourself out of here, because they already noticed within just 4 or 5 years, it's not any longer producing what it was doing in the beginning.
The curve is deep.
So they learned a few things. Number one is, the quality of the panel is huge.
Yep.
It's what makes longevity. It's just not production now; it's production over the long term. But also something in that other one you were mentioning, there's a design flaw somewhere in there. They're either, they've done something where they've undersized things and they're burning through inverters.
Or overdriving them.
Overdriving them.
That's not uncommon these days.
And he told us another story, if you remember out there, where somebody actually blew up part of the Edison main panel, and they got their butt shut down. And they ended up having to buy. They brought in a generator that looked like the size of a
mini tank.
Well, it's like what an 18-wheeler has, a 53-foot type trailer in the back.
Yep.
With a cost of $148,000 to them to keep the store going until they figured out everything else.
Because they blew up the panel.
We were just on that call this Saturday.
How do you do that?
2 days ago.
I mean, what do you really got to do to blow something up? It's just ridiculous. Some things a lot of solar guys that are out there don't realize. Have you ever thought about isolation transformers? Mm-hmm. Inside the building, stepping the power up or stepping the power down to match?
Exactly.
What about, on the street? I mean, what kind of power is coming in from the street?
Right.
Do they have a 12,000 volt, one of those oil-based transformers on it, or is it the little square one that's got 7,000-8,000 per?
Right.
Is it coming down from a 500 kV line down to a isolation transformer that goes into the store, but somebody didn't really do something right, so when you add something, it smells funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of all those things, right?
Yeah, and it's sad because like this particular customer, they've done it several times. They still somehow love solar, even after they just weren't with the right people. But they believe in it.
Did they ever fire those guys? They got rid of them, right?
That's why they're coming to us.
Yeah, I just think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and what we've offered as we're doing their, looking at doing their next facilities, and they've got a few, is to also go back and kind of look at maybe where the engineering went wrong on that previous system.
Yep.
Just to do the courtesy of saying this is most likely what's happening to you. So at least because sometimes the person that messed it up in the first place doesn't have the ability or the knowledge to know how to fix it, because if they knew that, they wouldn't have done it wrong in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
they're hiring these little guys that are out there on the internet saying that I'll do your plan set for $200.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
And
Hey, I went to high school, which is okay. I'm glad you got your your diploma and stuff like that. But if you just worked with somebody for a while, but you really didn't understand the knowledge of that, and anybody can start a business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It just blows me away.
Yeah.
I mean, they could even go to other places that we use, and we're not going to tell them where we go.
Right.
But these are free options, and it's a complete understanding of how to properly design or match a solar panel to an inverter.
Right.
What is the right one to use?
Right. So, I mean, we obviously have the knowledge to do that, but even as knowledgeable as we are, and we've got decades into this business, we still use 2 to 3 other alternative
well, you
places.
And I are double-checking our works with each other.
We double, we triple. You look at my stuff, I look at yours, and then we use these other sources for the third and the fourth check.
That's right.
And when it comes back and it shows, and we're very conservative as it is, and it comes back and typically tells us, no, it's going to perform better, but we're like, okay, we're okay with our first numbers, because that's what we want to be, conservative, so we know it's at least doing the minimum of what we're telling you.
Exactly. There was this one inverter manufacturer that said, I can use a 7,600 watt inverter from XYZ, and it will output like 12,000 or 11,000 watts. That's a maximum.
Right.
Well, if the inverter manufacturer label was 7,600, hint, hint.
Yeah.
So that would kind of almost say you can drive that a little bit harder, maybe 110%. But
Right.
when you're getting into the 130, 140%,
Right.
what's going to happen is your inverter is going to start clipping,
Mm-hmm.
and then all that extra energy
Exactly.
that you were supposed to put into the grid is being shunted somewhere else.
Not only is it going to clip, but over time you're putting excessive wear on that. So just imagine.
All that, and most of it now is all, there's no more of those, those big transformers
Right.
in the inverter.
Right.
They've taken all that out. So those little capacitors and all those little resistors, they get hot during the day. And if you're driving the hell out of that inverter,
Look, it's just like driving a performance car, right?
snap, crackle, pop.
Sure, you can kick it up to red line now and then and have some fun with it.
Sure.
But if you're constantly putting it at red line and above, what's going to happen to your engine?
The red line is there for a reason, right?
Yeah, right. And if you keep doing that to your solar system, and it basically, if you're going to continually day in and day out run that inverter at more than it should, you're first going to, like you said, start to clip some of the energy, so your production's not what it should be.
It's going down
But
now.
eventually as well, you're going to prematurely wear that device out.
Prematurely is a good word, Rob.
Yep. So, I mean, but there's so many, as we know from the industry, there's so many people that don't really pay attention to calculating that.
We actually took a job from one of those guys that are on the radio. We won't mention their name, but, they're kind of in the military, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, they had a huge room of these, 7,600 watt inverters, and we're putting them on 10, 11K jobs.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of the issue too. Is there's a lot of companies out
Put
there.
a couple inverters.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that they're selling you what they've got in the warehouse.
That's right, because they get them at a cheap price because they buy them in bulk.
Exactly.
So when you get this guy that goes out there and he sells you a job, most of these guys don't even know what inverter you're getting. That goes to production. Production says, hey, Bob, how many of those do you have back there?
Exactly.
Well, the boss wants to get rid of those 3 over there in the corner, Bill.
Yeah. Well, and they're pretty
And
much
there you
told,
have it.
they're pretty much told that in their sales
And their
meetings.
little sales meetings, right?
Yeah.
First guy that sells 3 of those inverters gets a lollipop.
Yeah, I remember at companies where they go, hey, we got the 327s, we got a lot of those panels. Can you get rid of those? Even though they're not the best deal, we've got 300 in the warehouse. We don't do that. We design what's right for you.
Yep.
And we obtain that and put that on your roof.
I mean, isn't that what it's all about in the beginning?
It should be.
They're buying something from you, so why don't you give that something to them?
Yes, exactly. But I think sometimes, they're out for a much more immediate satisfaction, or they're trying to make that sale.
Oh,
They're
man.
trying to make, and for us, like as we have a pretty large percentage of our business is referral.
Yep.
All right, so it's repeat. This person bought it.
Repeat business is good business.
They went and bought another house, or their brother-in-law or sister-in-law needs it, or whatever. And that, I think, is one of the greatest things you can tell that you're doing something right.
Right.
So for us, I mean, that's why we do the right thing. We know there's a lifetime value of a customer. We don't want one sale. We'd love multiples, and we're going to do right by you to make sure you're taken care of correctly. And then we're probably going to see your family members or your friends as well and help them out.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but
Right?
it first starts with making sure all your jobs are done absolutely right.
Absolutely. So, everything is necessary, even when you're doing windows.
Sure.
You're doing insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these guys that are running around with their heads cut off, they don't really do an analysis of the entire home.
No.
Right? So most importantly, these guys that are coming into your house, they have to have this license in their pocket. It's called a home improvement salesperson's license.
Right.
It's an HIS license.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for it and then see if it's expired.
Yeah.
Because everything
Start your
even
conversation there.
Right? Start with it there, and it says, "Hey, Mr. Jones, are you licensed?"
Right.
And if he's not licensed, thank him for his coming out, and then point your finger at the door.
Right.
Because, it would surprise me, firstly, if 90% of the people that are out there really care about that.
Right. No, it's true. And when you're looking to get a bid, make sure you get a comprehensive bid.
That's right. A real contract that's
Exactly.
on 8.5 by 14.
Right.
You can't be on letter size. You realize that,
No,
right?
it's not a legal document.
It's not a legal document. I don't know why I've seen a lot of them, companies that are out there putting 8.5, 11, no 2-piece NCR.
Right.
It's like going to your printer and printing out. You think you know what the words are, and you're sticking this stuff there, and people are actually signing it.
Right. Well, and also too, like I have a customer right now that I've spent a fairly extensive amount of time trying to assist as we do, and they've been waiting for a week to get a bid. And
so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Somebody actually came out and saw her?
Well, out of her 6 bids, I think only 2 people showed up.
Nice.
We've showed up 3 times. One person showed up once, and they're taking 5 or 6 days to put a bid together on something. If you know what you're doing, it's a 24, let's put it on the outside, 48 hours, right?
How long does it take? It's really quick.
It shouldn't. In fact, when somebody walks off your property, they've got a pretty excellent idea of what you need already.
That's right.
It's a matter of putting it all together in a package so you understand everything. But, my thing on that, too, is if it takes them 5 or 6 or 7 days to get you a bid, how are they going to perform the work?
You know what
and
that
if you
means?
Can't get them on the phone, this was a big thing. I've called or I've emailed and I've requested it again and again. Why are you still talking to that individual?
You know what it is? Somebody sees this, they see this price, maybe a price difference, and it's worth waiting for in their head when they don't realize that if somebody was accepted like that, the massive interruptions that are going to happen. I mean, what about quality of work? I mean, if he's cutting on price, the quality of work's going to suffer.
Maybe that's the reason he can't get his bid out to you.
Maybe.
Is he running a really lean shop and it's running, it gets kind of scary to me.
I hate it when those guys, I spoke to him and he goes, even some of my business friends that, I don't associate anymore with, what they say is, we're basing this whole company on volume.
Yeah.
Wow, if you're basing your whole company on volume, get ready.
Yeah.
You're going to go bye-bye.
Well, you're probably not
can't do it.
Yeah, you're probably not going to go. Yeah, and then you can't afford when something goes wrong and you need to go take care of your customer. There's a lot of things that's just really wrong about that model. They normally can't invest the time. Hence, half of these companies are going to try to do your solar bid over the phone. You're gonna have a little virtual meeting.
Unbelievable.
You're going to do a little Skype call or something like that. I've watched that being done. But there's nothing like meeting the customer, truly understanding what they're trying to accomplish, being on the ground or on the roof and really looking at what they've got so your bid is proper. There's just a lot of things to that. But I will tell you this, and you know this from how many years you've been in business, the lowest bid is normally the highest.
That's
by the time they get done with you.
Yep, because those change orders coming.
The highest bid normally includes things and didn't cut stuff out like the low bid probably did, because you should be scratching your head if it's too low, that old too good to be true. Well, yeah, it is normally.
Absolutely.
But that high bid, at least they probably have everything in there. They're gouging you.
Yep.
Somewhere in the middle.
How do you feel about that, Rob?
Yeah, no, somewhere in the middle there's an honest group. They've got an honest price on their equipment and an honest price on what it costs to put it in correctly, and pay qualified professional installers to do what they need to do. So normally it's that middle bid. Somewhere in the middle there's a more reasonable choice. But if you're on either end of the spectrum, if you're too high or too low, one way or another it's going to cost you more and you're not going to get the job right. At least on the high one, you just got to take an advantage most likely on money. The low one, they're still going to have to up it when they put a change order or two in there, and they didn't do a quality job to begin with.
That's when they make their money back.
I've been in architecture so long, and we've done so many bids for government, civic, public and private projects, and we watched architects come in with lower bids, and even the government understands those low bids were plagued with change orders and extra cost.
Here's another thing that really kind of frazzles my laces, right? You got Contractor A. Mm-hmm. Contractor A, hate to say it, he goes down to one of these local hardware stores.
To pick his crew up?
Yeah. I mean, do you realize, homeowner, if you're getting somebody that's like a B general contractor, the state of California tells you straight up, if the person that I'm hiring is not licensed, then I'm in violation.
Yes.
So I can't just arbitrarily go down to whatever your home
They know
home.
They know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
they're in the parking lot.
And pick these guys up. I mean, you can get 10, 20 of them at a time.
Yeah.
And they will go out and attempt the work.
Right.
But if it's not done right, guess what the state contractor's license board is going to do? Mm-hmm. They're going to find out that your contractor did not hire a licensed contractor to do the work.
Yeah.
And so what happens is Mr. and Mrs. Jones out there file a complaint against that contractor.
Right.
Get him put straight. Because if he's hiring Pete in the pickup or Chuck in the truck over at one of those places, he needs to be disciplined for it.
Yeah. I mean, all these...
Hello?
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that we work with that's not licensed?
No, and that's the thing. I understand people at these places trying to make a living and support their families.
And I get that.
And I totally get that. But
so go work at Taco Bell.
Yeah, because we're talking about your home.
You don't need a license for that.
No, we're talking about your home. Would you be driving a car that some side guy out of a parking lot of some auto parts was putting your car together?
Hell
I mean,
no.
if you bought a Mercedes or you bought a Toyota or anything like that, would you expect anybody on the side of the street was assembling it?
Walk
No.
up with a box of wrenches?
No. What sometimes amazes me is I've come to homeowners. They've got a beautiful home, they got an expensive car in the drive, and they're trying to chisel out price on their prized possession, which is their home. This is something we want.
The most important possession besides their family.
Exactly, but I mean, this is where your big investment is for that family, right? And our pricing, as you know, we're pretty competitive.
No doubt.
But there's enough still in there to make sure the job is done correctly. And I watch them, and I'm like, well, why do you choose that car? Anything will get you from point A to B, and then eventually they smile and chuckle and go, well, quality. Well, what do you want on your roof then? I mean, if you're getting a new roof or you're getting solar, because the thing with solar is if it ceases to perform the way it was designed to, you are going to go back to your utility to buy the energy it stopped producing.
At higher rates.
So now I have a solar payment, I have a utility payment that's still going up. Why would I do that to myself? Because if you do it correctly, you can mitigate those costs, but you've got to do it right. All we're just saying is pick a really legitimate company that knows what they're doing and has some, I think,
how about this?
Decades of experience.
Get in your car and go drive down there and knock on their door.
Come on in.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The first impression should be everything. We invite everybody to come and visit us over here at 222 North Mountain Avenue. We're suite number 203 on the second floor in beautiful Upland, California. Yeah. I'm telling you this. Come on down. Let us give you some coffee. Get some Pop-Tarts for the kids. When we cook you, pop some popcorn, and talk about the job.
Right.
I want you to come down and scrutinize who we are,
exactly,
what we do, and how we do it. I want you to feel good about those things.
Yeah.
This guy that comes out to your house, one of the recent things, and I went canvassing with one of our canvas crews because I like to hang out with them, right, on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. We went by, and we just came from this lady's house, and she was interested in getting a solar system put on her home. She said, she's having this plumber guy come up and check out her house, right? So as I'm turning down the driveway, we all see this plumber that's reaching into his trunk. It looks like he's got his girlfriend or his wife in the passenger seat. I mean, that's not a problem, I guess.
Right.
She shouldn't be at work with you, right? But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But and then he opened the hood. This guy was wearing something just funky clothes, and he pulls out a couple of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, sticks them in his teeth, walks up to the lady, and she goes, "Are you the plumber?" He goes, "Uh-huh."
Yeah.
I mean, really? Come on, man.
Right.
The guy, I think he pulled up in like a Yugo.
Remember? Well, no. It's like
it's hilarious.
Well, and I remember
comedy's good here, folks.
One of our last customers out in the Hidden Hills area.
Oh yeah.
One of his things mentioned was that their HOA frowns upon getting a sketch on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper showing you what they're going to do because they've actually received that from contractors.
Or from Pete in the pickup or
exactly.
Chuck in the truck.
That's just not professional.
You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to eradicate this garbage. that's out there. Listen, if you want to
They're trying to protect their homeowners also in those communities.
Homeowner association.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, they want a certain quality in their area, and I see part of that obviously because you want to make sure that you don't have customers in your area that are getting robbed.
Let me tell you, it's so simple to have them put one hand in the back of your wallet and the other hand in the front getting your keys than you really think. Trust me.
Yeah.
And they're out there. They're out there.
And that one saying that I always have, and I'm famous for saying this so many times, is I watch customers always complain they don't have the money to do it right, but they always find the money to fix it once it goes wrong. Once you have to fix it once it goes wrong, it typically costs you more than doing it right the first place.
Oh, goodness.
Doesn't it?
Yep, it sure does.
So if you had a $20,000 bid on something and you took it, but you had a $24,000 bid and you didn't take that one, but it failed and now costs $10,000 to fix the $20,000.
Yep.
Now you're at $30,000, $6,000 more than the $24,000 bid, which was a better deal.
Congratulations, Mrs. Jones.
Plus all the time and the headache. Get a solid licensed contractor that specializes in what you're doing, like we specialize in solar.
And not only that, there's three other things they have to have attached to that license. Mm-hmm. They have to have a bond of at least $15,000.
Right.
So you can go chase that down.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have what they call general liability insurance. Because remember, when somebody steps on your property, it's now your problem.
That's right.
So if somebody hurts themselves, you're in deep doo-doo.
Someone falls
they
off
will
the roof,
sue your
on.
insurance company
Yes, they will.
on your house. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these contractors don't use this because the California Contractor License Board is giving them the out to get out of that. They don't have workers' compensation.
Right. Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, and hopefully the State Contractors License Board will kind of listen to this, somebody that gets a contractor's license must be mandated to have a bond, general liability, and workers' compensation, because CSLB, I don't know if you know this or not, the owner of that company is not going to do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to get Pete in the pickup and Chuck in the truck.
It could be.
Yeah. Over at home, whoever, and he's going to cause some havoc. Yeah. It's not necessary. So anybody that comes to your house without a home improvement license, and if a contractor doesn't have those three other items in place, run as far as you can.
And what's interesting is who always asks us to show those three things.
Oh, yeah.
Is people that are being contractors themselves that are having us do their work, but they understand what they need to provide, and they sure as hell want us to have it before we step on their property or on their roof. So a lot of our very educated, knowledgeable consumers, they're asking for those things. And if you don't have it, don't let them on your property.
I mean, you're taking a big risk.
You're taking a risk on your biggest investment.
I actually knew this one guy that hired this cement guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say that only Samoans do cement. They're the ones that wanted to get into the industry, right? Mm-hmm. So this group of people were Samoans. Mm-hmm. Of course, the guy had to write a check out to these guys called cash. Mm-hmm. I mean, wouldn't that be like an indicator of WTF, OMG, let's go?
You're writing them a check to cash. That's a bit of an issue.
Wrote him a check for $5,500. Oh, my
God.
The guy never came back to do the work.
Oh, my God.
And when he called him, of course, all he did was change his number.
Yeah.
He had a Facebook site, so they tracked him down eventually. Oh, my God. You know what he told this guy? He goes, if you bug me one more time, I'm going to come over there and blow up your house.
Yeah, there's
and he,
hello? There's a lot more of that sort of stuff that happens.
If I had a shotgun in my hand, he'd have lost something.
But you know what I mean? I mean, it sounds extreme, but we come across these things as contractors. How many stories have we come across? It's amazing to us.
And he's still doing work right now.
What just happened to, the reason we preach against this as well is they're harming our industry.
Yeah, and it's not cool.
We're contractors, okay? We're ethical contractors. We've been doing this for nearly 30 years.
Yep.
When you have 50% of your business being referral, that tells you what kind of work you're doing.
That's right.
These other people give us bad names. Even when we look at solar, We love the solar industry, and some of the biggest company names, I won't mention certain cities of solar and so forth that started out, that were the ones that gave the industry a bit of a bad name by selling projects that should have never been sold, or they weren't right for people. We're the first ones to tell
we can probably say Solar City.
Yeah, they're now they're somebody else's.
Yep.
But I mean, when we look at that, I left places because they were selling deals that they were selling it inappropriately. We're the first ones to tell you if it's not right for you, because we don't want you as a customer if it's wrong for you.
That's right.
Okay? If we did that sort of thing like they did, we would be operating outside of our own integrity. And guess what? We wouldn't have such high referral rates.
I'd be working out of my Prius.
Exactly. Right?
I just wear a T-shirt, and on the front it'll say, yes, right. I'm Pete in the pickup.
Well, we get very passionate about this because they're mucking up our industry, both on the construction side and on the solar. Solar is fantastic. In fact, 2019, as we've said before, there's probably not a better year switch than now.
Gosh.
But there's been a bad taste by some of these big companies that they even won't, like, look at one of our customers, 5 quotes, and we were the only person that went out to his house.
They chose us.
Yeah,
it's just
because we're very diligent.
Maybe it's because what we said and what we did.
Customer service, we're there inside and out. We had a customer call us at 9:30 at night, and we were there handling his problem. You don't get that sort of thing at places.
Here's as far as I go. Mother's Day, everybody's selling flowers.
Yeah,
I refuse to buy flowers from that guy or that girl that had a 5-gallon white bucket. We've all seen him, right?
Yeah, right?
Tons of flowers in there. Why? Because down the street there's a flower shop.
Yeah, right. Giving them
I couldn't wait to call code enforcement to come out and pick these guys up. Non-licensed. I don't even know if they're citizens, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, as sad and mean as that sounds, if you let something as simple like that into the network, you're going to let everything else in. And, I was talking to a friend of mine that was, he's part of the licensing board and all this other stuff. I'm like, you know what? Why don't cities sanction customers financially for hiring a non-licensed guy?
Yeah.
None of these guys, firstly, are going to pull a permit. So when the city is doing their code enforcement thing and they're going around and looking at walls that were never permitted or room additions, these guys that are doing these garage conversions are a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's LA City doesn't care. So if you have a house and you're in LA City and you want to rent out your garage, well, you can hire, Pete in the pickup or Chuck in the truck. Whoever's not licensed, so come to your house, make you spend $80,000, right? And they'll let you do this, and they won't have to worry about anything because they're going to skedaddle to the next job.
Yeah.
So there's no recourse. I think homeowners should be sanctioned financially for getting this done without a permitted contractor.
Well, I will argue they're already indirectly sanctioned, because most of that work that gets done inappropriately and improperly ends up costing them more when they have to hire someone like us to go fix it.
City of San Bernardino.
Take a look, how many times have we seen?
Yep.
We've seen licensed companies mess up designs.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And we see that 20-30% of the time sometimes. But the non-licensed guys working out of their pickup truck, they're 80% of the time they got something failing.
Problems.
So in a way, the customer that's trying to cut that corner, and in a way they sanction themselves, because when they have to go back to fix it, and that's what I tell people, at some point, don't be one of my stories.
Right.
Okay. And if somebody else has a better deal, and I've looked at their equipment, because as you know, a lot of people just send us all their PDFs of all their proposals.
Yep.
And we evaluate everything for them. But if somebody truly just underbid us and they were doing it right, and we looked at their licenses and it was in place and it was good, I'd be like, I'm okay with losing this because I lost it.
I applaud that.
Okay.
Bring it on.
But that doesn't happen. I can count on one hand how many times it happens, because mostly it's somebody that's cheated the system or cheated them, and it ends up costing them down the road. And you know me, because we're very much people. So we get attached to customers when we meet them, and the one thing
we got kids, we got families,
we want to protect them,
exactly.
And I want to make sure, and we do everything we can to get the job and make sure they're protected and it's done correctly.
I was really satisfied with the city of San Bernardino. We got called out to do a home inspection, And the city of San Bernardino was sanctioning this homeowner $1,000 a day because he built 5 or 6 little casitas in his backyard and converted his garage into one of those, they call them ADUs.
Okay.
Right? I don't know what they're, but I mean,
I don't know what that
what
means.
does that stand for?
I don't know.
You know, arguably disgusted universe. I'm not too sure. ADUs, but they were charging him $1,000 a day to tear it down.
Yeah.
That city could put that homeowner into foreclosure.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have the money to pay it back. Guess what's going to happen?
You know, and that brings up an issue, too, because how many times have we gone out and maybe it's a patio or it's some sort of thing. It's not even an enclosed thing, but they put it up and they didn't go for the permit.
No footing permit,
right.
nothing.
And we want to be careful, too. We're not out to get somebody in trouble.
No.
We're really not.
Do it right, at least.
You know, but when I look at something and I'm like, you realize that permit was $80.
Exactly.
You spent $3,500 to do the patio or whatever it was. And you couldn't fork over the $80 to make sure you're legit so that no matter what happens down the road, no one can cause you a problem. Now, luckily, a lot of cities on stuff like that, they're willing to just make you have to get the permit, and they're not. Some won't
afterwards.
Yeah,
sometime.
and they won't penalize you, especially if it's not a, you know, if it's a dwelling where people are living inside. That's a bit of a different issue.
Yeah.
But you know, do it right. If you're doing something yourself, get a permit. If you're having us, obviously, it's always going to be permitted. But it's very important. Go by the law. Cover yourself, because also insurances and so forth. If you had a problem with that structure, or that thing fell down, and it fell down on somebody,
somebody's going to get
you're
sued.
out there at a barbecue and somebody gets under a device, something that a roof falls in or something. Let me tell you, you're not permitted and it wasn't done to code. You've not only hurt somebody because you cut a corner, you've hurt yourself as well, because you'll lose.
Every time.
Every
single time.
Just go by the letter of the law. Make sure your contractor does as well, because there's we did this show because weekly we get complaints from customers that now have found us, and like I said, it upsets us as much as it upsets you guys, because it hurts our business. It's, you know, people take time to trust us because they didn't trust the last 2 guys that went out there and did something wrong. It's your job to vet the right people. So take it seriously, please.
One of our estimators, Sergio, went out there to give an estimate, and he lost this block wall estimate because the homeowner did an owner-builder type thing in the city of Rialto to build 200 linear foot of block wall that was 7 feet high. Well, firstly, it can't go over 6.
Six, yeah.
It's got to be capped at 6.
Right.
Secondly, the owner builder, you know what she did, right? She went out and hired Pete in the pickup.
Right.
Chuck in the truck.
Right.
And then recently, I've heard that first wall they built has got this really cool diagonal crack in it.
Wow.
I just love those.
Yeah. the
Spent all that money. Now they're going to have to break it down.
Yeah.
And start over. You know what? Tough.
The hardest thing for us sometimes is to caution against things like this without sounding completely self-serving.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you to do these things, which is basically most customers go, well, you're just trying to get more business for yourself. Quite honestly, I don't care if you even go down the street. Use our information.
Trying to save your butt.
Yeah, use the information. If we don't get your contract, that's fine. But if somebody that was credible got it and you did not get in trouble because of anything you learned here, listening to us, we're still happy. Okay? So, I it's easy to say it's self-serving.
Can you see me shaking my head, Rob?
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what I mean, right?
Exactly.
Because I like to sleep at night. Once I start talking to you, when I see some of these bids coming in and I'm like, oh my God, look at that. And why did they size something like this? That's not appropriate. But a lot of times, like, you know, as much as we educate you, and that's our first job, we educate more than sell.
Yep.
You'll never understand what 3 decades has brought us as far as understanding.
They don't realize that first 2 years was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
And we got beat up just as bad
absolutely.
as anybody else did.
Yeah.
But, you straighten things out. You make things true.
Exactly.
You walk the straight line. You can't lose.
Right. But you know what made the difference with us is when you're in those learning years in the beginning, which were decades away for being back for us, is if something ever went wrong, we stood behind it.
Yeah, I remember writing a check
Right.
to somebody
Yeah.
for doing something wrong because XYZ didn't have his license, or he said he did, but he didn't.
But you took it on the
And
chin.
I
and
took
made sure
it on
was
the
right.
chin. I made sure it was right.
That's right. Our customers don't pay a price. Not
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't ever do that.
Yeah.
But it's the first thing that gets passed along by most of these people. So we just want you really well informed. Whether it's us, we'd love to do your business. But if it's someone else, just make sure you use the knowledge you're getting here to make good decisions. Because
Doesn't cost you a penny.
no, but like we always say, it costs you a lot not to listen. There's a lot of good information here. We just want to keep you safe. We want you to have as stress-free. Construction's construction.
Yeah, it gets dirty, it gets messy.
Exactly. But, the job is we're supposed to make that an easy process, or as easy as possible. And if something does go wrong, someone's there to take care of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, just word of the wise, man. Cities make you grab permits to keep you safe,
Yes.
to make sure it's done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, electrocute yourself
Yeah.
accidentally or whatever that's going on.
Yeah.
You don't break a water main, and something that's very important to your house.
Yeah.
You got electrical, you got water, and you got roofing.
Yeah.
Those three things right there are super important, especially your roof. Your roof is the most important part of your entire home,
Right.
because that predicates, going to be energy efficient or not. How's your insulation?
Right.
All this stuff is all tied in.
Yeah.
So don't let somebody come into your house and be Mr. Electrician on a Saturday
Right.
to go out there and really kind of screw things up. I've seen them. I've dealt with them. And some of those that are really, really, really messed up, I just put my hands together and I'm like the dealer at the craps table.
Yeah.
I go, you know what? I'm not even going to jump into that.
No, it's actually our least favorite job because
Yeah.
and one of the reasons it also costs a bit more is we have to go in and figure out where they went wrong.
Yeah, and
Then sometimes we have to backtrack some of the work they did before we could move forward with the solution.
yeah,
So
and that's horrible.
You're taking how many steps back to be able to correctly move forward, and it's just we'd rather not ever have those calls. I mean, we're happy to help you get out of that problem, but what we're trying to say today is if you pick correctly the first time, you'll never have that problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So number one, make sure your salesperson is actually a real salesperson licensed by the state of
Exactly.
California
Yep.
or any state that requires it. And secondly, the contractor's license that you're dealing with, make sure they have a bond, they have general liability and workers' compensation. If they don't have those three things, that's another red flag.
Right.
And most importantly, look at their reviews.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's everything, I think. You
Yeah.
know, somebody that does a really good job, you're going to get respect for that, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't believe in that other company that starts with a Y and ends in a P.
Yeah.
That everybody says, hey, go over here and check their reviews out. We got other contractors leaving bad reviews for other contractors.
Yeah.
It's so convoluted, it's pathetic.
Yes.
But, you get something in Google My Business.
Right.
When you go to Google, type the company's name, and when they pull up, that means that company actually took the time and effort to make their company show up.
Right.
Because they want to be responsible.
Right.
Check those reviews.
Sure. Yeah.
They got anything under 2? Run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 2's kind of bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at a B. Have an overview of what you want to do. Go to their website. If they don't have something on there that says customer reviews,
Right.
what does that mean?
Exactly.
And most importantly, my last thing, I'm sorry, Rob, I cut you off all
No.
the time. I do. But anyways, one of the things I like to see are jobs starting in the middle, in the beginning, middle, and end. And we have a gob of those videos up on the internet right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can actually see our
Shows-
yard sign and all the other
Shows
garbage.
the whole process. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So why
And
not
and
do
we're
it the right
still,
way?
even after all these years, nothing makes us happier than a great review.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's
Oh, yeah.
it's the confirmation that we did what we told you we were going to do.
Make sure
Yeah.
that your customers are taking pictures with yard signs and stuff like that. I mean, a review is the ultimate thank you for doing what you said.
It's our Oscar.
It's our Oscar. Hey, we should have a review thing.
No, it really
like
is.
the Oscars. Huh?
It really is.
For
Like
contractors.
especially it just shows that they appreciated the work you put in. Because what I always tell people is once you sign and say yes, we're really working hard for you.
And don't get a review before the work is done.
No.
I see a lot of companies doing that.
No, exactly. Exactly. I've had some ask for the review, and I'm like, it's not even on your roof yet.
Well, let us do that first.
Yeah, but it's because there's a lot of people that are willing to go out there and write a bad review. But the people that take the time to write a good one, it's very genuine.
Very genuine,
you know. And we've got a lot of great reviews. We're really happy with it.
Yep.
I've got customers we talk to just because we talk to them still.
Yep.
You know, and we check in and so forth. So it's a good feeling, and hopefully maybe some of the people listening here will be our next good reviews.
I surely hope so, Rob. Hey, man, I want to thank you for hanging out today.
Always.
I just wanted to get this out there to the public to let them know that, hey, there's unscrupulous people that are out there.
Yep.
And they will take advantage of you in every way possible. Yeah. Don't accept the lowest guy. Don't accept the highest guy. You know, accept the guy that makes you feel good. The guy that has his license. Mm-hmm. The guy that actually has integrity, honesty, and all those things.
How about answers their phone? It gets promptly back to you with the answers to the questions you had.
Answer the phone. That's right.
How about that?
That's right. Hey, I wanted to throw a shout out to our friends at Solaria.
Yeah.
One of the best panels on the planet.
Yeah.
I think we got Elliot's coming out tomorrow from Solaria, right?
We're doing a little podcast with him.
Yeah, Elliot's going to be able to say things about his goods and services.
Yeah.
And tell us what they got going on.
We're excited about
in
it,
technology.
Yeah.
And Elliot's a great guy. We can't thank him enough. He's been a good cornerstone to our business.
Yeah.
Which got us listed as a pro installer.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
No, it's fantastic.
I hate when that happens,
Elliot's
folks.
I've known Elliot for years. I'm happy he's with Solaria. It's a great product. He's a great guy. We're really happy to be part of it.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks again, Rob. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic week.
Will do.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, everyone.
The Energy Hour was brought to you by
For beauty, efficiency, and power, the only product we know in the solar industry is Solaria. Maximum power. For nearly 25 years, Solaria has set the pace for solar panel performance, efficiency, reliability, quality, and design. Maximum power. Solaria continues to leverage its patented technology, engineering expertise, and sophisticated automation into creating one of the most attractive, energy-efficient solar panels available on the market today. Maximum power. What really defines home solar? How about Solaria? Quality you can trust for your home or business. Solaria is the new benchmark for solar energy. Where do you get this panel for your home or business? Go to QHIinc.com. That's QHIINC.com/Solaria. SOLARIA.
Thank you for listening to The Energy Hour. Visit them on the internet by going to QHIinc.com/TEO. That's QHIINC.com/TEO.